I've got some firepower in my talk at the table. I got some video help. So it's about children and what they are saying as they go back to school during the pandemic. So the big picture is 56 million K through 12 students are returning this fall, either remotely or in person, or by blending the two approaches. So what we did is we spoke to some children for our School Matters series. Here's what they said.
We're excited to go back to school. How do you feel?
I'm excited to get back to school too. I'm concerned about recess and how seeing my friends is gonna work and wearing masks while social distancing.
It's not gonna be as fun. You have to wear a shield for the whole school class. And when you leave, you can take it off.
I'm also concerned about my experience. This will be my last year of high school, so I know that I won't be getting the same experience as a lot of seniors before me.
Why can't we go and see our friends? Why can't we go to school? Why do we have to do this online learning stuff? And how is this going to help us? Am I gonna hug my teachers again? I think the teachers might be a little nervous, maybe a little bit. They don't want to get sick. So yeah, that's what I'm a little bit nervous of.
Students might find it more easier or more difficult to learn through online schooling. So will colleges look at this year more lenient or more stricter when it comes to our outcomes of this year?
I feel like my grades are gonna drop because I'm gonna be so used to online school that I forget how to do in-person school, which is actually the normal thing.
Oh,
yeah, nothing
very worried.
Very sweet. Nothing against teenagers, but the 8-year-olds and the 4-year-old. Gavin, when can I hug my teacher?
Or Grace. My sister Lenny teaches elementary school, and she said it's very hard when you're just dealing with the computer screen because some of them will just get up and walk away.
Yeah.
They've had enough. They just get up and walk away.
I like that reflective 8-year-old. I think my grades may drop.
Yes. They're very worried. We get it.
All right.
We get it. It's new for. Listen. As hard as it is for them, it's new for everybody.
Yeah.
We're all in the same
boat.
boat.
And sustaining it is really hard. You know, I think everybody thought going into the summer maybe things would be better in the fall, and now here, you know, a lot of kids are going through it all over again.
Yeah.
That's the problem. There doesn't seem to be an end in sight. That's what's so concerning.
This too shall pass.
I believe that.
I do.
I actually do believe that.
Moments ago, we heard from children talking about their concerns about returning to school during this very unusual time in the pandemic. We're going to stick with that. Psychologist and CBS News contributor Lisa Damour joins us now to answer questions and concerns from those students. Lisa, good morning to you. This is a really interesting conversation, and I think Colin here in Montana, who we have a question from, really sums it up when he says he's going back to school in person. And like a lot of kids, I think he's concerned about the social distancing. He says he's scared his school will feel like a jail, cold and distant. What's your advice for students confronting that kind of experience when they go back?
Well, Colin's right. School is going to feel different this year. You know, everyone's going to be wearing masks. There's going to be plexiglass in all sorts of new places. Everyone's going to be kept at a distance from one another. But I think Colin's already doing something that will help him, which is to think about what he's walking into. Because anytime we're walking into a situation that's difficult, the more we imagine it, the more we prepare ourselves mentally, the better it actually goes when we get there. So anticipating those changes and being ready for them will make a big difference.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say, though, to students is that their teachers want school to be a warm and friendly place. And I know teachers are going to do everything in their power to make students feel connected and calm and cared for, even while following all of those safety precautions.
Yeah. Part of keeping a school a warm and friendly place can mean a high five. It can mean a hug. I mean, in the old days. Now, we heard from one little guy, Gavin, age 4. He said, when am I going to be able to hug my teacher again? What do you say to kids like that?
Well, I think we tell them the truth. We say, well, we don't know. But until you can hug your teacher, there are lots of other ways that you can show them how much they mean to you and be affectionate with them. So maybe you'll come up with some funny little wave or some special wink that you give each other over your masks. You can still have that kind of fun, playful affection until we can hug again.
Extracurriculars are also coming up a lot. We heard from 2 kids who were wondering, is it safe to play sports? And then beyond sports, there's a million after-school things that kids do. What's the advice to those kids who are weighing the risks and benefits of getting involved with clubs, with theater, all of that?
This is a tough one because Nothing matters more than safety, and there may be things that kids cannot do safely, maybe sports or other kinds of theatrical activities. But what we should tell young people is that doesn't mean that they can't find ways to develop those skills, to build themselves as athletes, to build themselves in the other things they would have worked on after school. And they may even be able to get together with their peers in a safe way to do those things until the more traditional systems by which we do that can come back.
When you start talking about the older kids, high school age, they're thinking about college, they're thinking about the rest of their lives. This would be a time when they're volunteering, when they're doing things to build their resume for that all-important application. Now they can't, and they're nervous about that. What would you say to them?
Here's what I'm saying to young people. You know, the bad news is this pandemic affects everybody. The better news is colleges know it affects everybody. So what I am telling young people is to do what they can with what they have where they are. You know, this is a time to be resourceful. So it may be that young people develop, you know, a digital tutoring service for the kids in their community, or painters get really serious about their artwork and find other ways. You know, all students have ways to cultivate their intellectual lives. That's what colleges are going to want to see. They're going to want to see that you did what you could, even within the limits placed upon you.
Lisa, can I just say your voice is so soothing?
I was going to say.
I don't know if I'm just noticing it for the first time, but it's so soothing. But in our last hour, we had a great story about a little boy named Rocco, 11 years old, who said that he was depressed. Number one, I think it's great that he's speaking publicly on national TV with his mom and his dad, and that his mom said, you know, this isn't something I ever thought I'd have to deal with. You know, kids suffering from depression at such an early age. What questions should parents be asking? Should children be asking? How can we help them through this?
You know, we should expect some sadness. These are hard times, and feeling down about them is not a sign that there's something wrong. It's actually a sign that you're having the right feeling at the right time. So I don't want parents to be worried if their kids are feeling sad about the things they're missing out on or about school being different. But mood should go up and down. Kids should have sad moments, and then they should recover, and they should feel good again. We worry when mood gets low and stays low. In teenagers, we worry if they are cranky all the time. That is actually sometimes what depression looks like in teenagers. If a parent is worried, they should absolutely consult with their physician or a mental health professional to check things out.
Lisa, how do you deal with the with the sort of the constantly changing landscape we're looking at right now? I mean, a lot of kids were told they'd be going back into the class, then all of a sudden the school changed its mind. It's shifting all the time. We're all dealing with it, but I think that's really kids are used to routine. They're usually we try to give them routine.
They need routine.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's pretty good to think 2 weeks out. You know, what is this week going to look like? Maybe what is next week going to look like? And even within those short time frames, to create routines. That in the day-to-day, there can be some predictability, even if there can't be predictability over a broader scope. And one of the things I love about kids and teenagers is they are flexible. They're actually more flexible than grown-ups. So if the grown-ups can have some confidence that kids will figure this out and be able to adapt as this continues to change on all of us, I think kids will figure it out, and we can count on them for that.
All right, Lisa, I think you're leaving everyone feeling a lot calmer this morning. We appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
It is the job to help people feel good. That's what psychologists are supposed to do.
Well, mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
Well done.
Yeah, bravo. Well done.